What is going on, everyone? How are you all doing? This is Yixit at Magan Crypto back again with another video. We're going to start this video off with some wisdom from the main man, Bruce Lee. So let's run this clip.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Now, personally, I am a big fan of Bruce Lee. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. The reason I played this clip, not only because it's just wisdom of the highest order, but you can apply it to investing and especially trading as well. You know, when we look at the charts, it's better to, as Bruce Lee says, be like water, you know, flow and be formless. Clear your mind and look at the charts with an open mind. Don't have necessarily a fixed outcome in your head which will cloud your judgment. You know, look at the charts as openly as you can and flow with it. Just read the patterns and let it play out. Don't be fixed with your mentality, with your thinking, and just let it flow. Or I just played it because it's a super cool clip. But anyway, let's get this video started. So I'm covering 8 coins today, so this will be a good size video. First and foremost, let's look at Bitcoin, the leader of the market. So since the start of the correction, it has recovered, and although I'm not entirely convinced that we're going to start recovering properly and to climb above the previous high, looking at this chart and from the initial reversal from this bottom, it does look like it's forming somewhat of a flagging structure. Now, it's not a perfect flag. As you can see, there's a lot of space in between. Ideally, when you see a flagging structure, it needs to fill up all the spaces, but it does resemble that, especially from rejecting this level over here. It's forming this, which normally indicates that, you know, it's going to continue the move previously. In the context of it all, though, because it's still in a corrective phase, this could be a false flag. It could be a bearish trap, as they say. Now, as I said in previous videos, I'm still leaving the door open for the possibility of a recovery up to the point of the 786 or the 618 before it crashes down to the target of about 42, potentially to 38k region. But as you know, I've said the reason why I played this clip is because you really have to keep your mind open. I'm not going to fixate my mind on the fact that this correction could continue. I'm just going to let it play out and see how it goes. The main thing, if it does carry on going upwards, if it does break out this structure and continue up, is it going to, you know, break past this level, or is it going to close just below it? You know, are people going to take profits just below it around 55k? That's the thing I'd be looking out for if it carries on going up. Let's move over to Ethereum. Actually, before we go to Ethereum, I did not cover the weekly aspect of it. So on the weekly, it looks less, it looks more like a normal recovery than on the daily. So on the weekly, you can see, of course, we created a low here, but only just about got to the halfway point. So we could easily still get rejected from that halfway point and continue on going down to the lower targets of around 42 to 38 potentially, which would be the previous high. One thing I did spot as well, which I've mentioned in previous videos, is these two moves, these two rallies were measured moves up. So literally I drew this line and copied and pasted it onto the bottom of the correction, and you have the next line. So potentially we could have a repeat and have a third wave up, which would be another measured move up. And so I copied the line again and pasted it over here. You know, let's say the correction finishes at around 42. Let's go down to, let's say 42. Then it would get to as high as around 70 to 72k. If we go further down to about 38k, then that could potentially take us to about 66 to 67k, in and around that region. Could be further, could be a bit less. So 65 plus potentially if this measured move works. So let's see how that continues. Now Ethereum, it's looking good, to be fair, in a sense that it's used the previous high as support very nicely. And of course it's not clear yet, it's at the halfway point, same as Bitcoin. So it needs to make a decision whether to go back down and test that high again, or the support zone again, or close above and then start to attack the resistance level or the previous all-time high of around 1800 to 1900. So it's at a decisive point right now in terms of the next week, whether it wants to break above this and then it'll easily be an attack at the previous high, or is it going to get rejected from this point and then go back down to about 1400 and potentially lower. So next week looks so far to be quite an important week for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's have a look at ETH BTC as well, as we haven't covered it in a few breakdowns. So far ETH BTC rejected at around mid-Jan. It was going on a good momentum, and it was looking like, as I've drawn here, it was looking like it was gonna go straight to the next resistance level, which would have been about 47% move. However, it's clearly rejected, and now I'm starting to see what looks like a channel. So you can see this upper trend line being respected on 4 occasions, three proper tests and 1 wick, and you can see this lower trend line acting as support. So now what we can see is it's closed below that lower trend line and it's acted as resistance now. So of course the bullish sign that we would want to see is for it to close back above this trend line and then for it to break above this major resistance level. So there's a couple of things in the way that it needs to break past for it to get back to the upper trend line and perhaps go further up. So to be honest, is it looking a little bit bearish for ETH in the Bitcoin pairing. If it gets rejected from this, then we could see the next support level being tested around here. And of course, this would be a bearish situation for ETH, and it would start to lose value against Bitcoin and probably in the USD pairing as well. So we do not want to see that. So it's crucial that it breaks back above this level and continues going higher. Next, we'll have a look at Cardano. It's been asked to be covered by a few people. Of course, Cardano's been doing absolutely fantastic in the last few weeks. That run right here from about 10 to 15 cents. Even if we go from the start of the year, from about 16 cents, it's gone up about 700, almost 800%. So it's absolutely been smashing it. What I have said in the private Telegram group, however, is that I've become a little bit bearish with Cardano. Reason being is because of this massive run that it's been on. So at the moment, it's testing the previous high, which is good. But we need to see it actually turn around, reverse, and we need to see a green candle and then break past the previous candle that was formed over here. However, at the moment, we're not seeing that. We're just seeing a red candle and a test of that previous all-time high. However, as I said, it needs to become support. Looking at the daily time frame has made me more bearish. As I've mentioned in my private Telegram group, This looks like an ascending broadening wedge, or perhaps an ascending rising channel. And at the moment, as you can see, we are at the lower trend line of this channel. So if it doesn't break above this, if it doesn't reject and uses as support to go back above, then we may see a breakdown of this level and down to about 95 cents firstly, and then down to 84 cents as a second support level. So as you can see, it does look somewhat bearish, and it makes sense as well, in a sense that it's risen quite a lot already. So it would make sense that it gives back some of its gains for it to then continue on going higher. So let's just have a look at it as time goes on. If we see it break below this, then you know what I've been saying could come to fruition. So let's observe. Next, we'll have a look at SUSHISwap. Firstly, at the weekly. So this is actually quite good that we're seeing this after looking at Cardano. So Cardano was in a similar situation as SUSHI. So you saw with Cardano, it formed a new high and then rejected with the red candle, and it tested a previous all-time high. But now you can see with SUSHI that it's turning around. So it's now uses as support and it's attacking the previous high. That's what we want to see with Cardano, and that would be a bullish sign. So now SUSHI is looking like it wants to break past this previous high that was set and then go on a run. So two things I'm seeing as well. One is this massive wick, which is a good thing. There's a lot of buying pressure for SUSHI, so that's good. But then also there's a lot of selling pressure as well. So you can see it's going back and forth. It's a little bit indecisive. Looking at it from the daily perspective, it looks interesting in the sense that you've got a rounding top happening over here. So we could see the continuation of this rounding top and then a break to the upside, kind of like an inverse ascending scallop. However, we're going to see another proper inverse ascending scallop in another crypto in a moment. So it looks quite interesting. Me personally, I think we're due for a break to the upside. It just looks like it's consolidating quite a lot, and it's building a lot of energy to break to the upside. Now, of course, this is probabilities. It could easily break to the downside. One thing as well that kind of confluences that direction is the fact that the wicks are going higher and higher, meaning people are buying SUSHI at higher levels. They're looking to snap up SUSHI every time it goes down in price. People are looking to buy up. So this is a good sign for sure. So we could maybe see some further rounding before break to the upside. Next, we'll have a look at 1 inch token. So 1 inch, as I mentioned before, this is the one that looks more like a proper ascending scallop. Let's see if we can get a drawing tool to show you properly. Let's get this brush. So right there, that's more of an ascending scallop and inverse ascending scallop. And literally the easiest way to remember this is it's just a J, but upside down and then flipped reversed. So that is an ascending scallop, and that's what I've mentioned in previous videos when I covered this. So the key part that I mentioned as well in the previous video was the fact that it needs to hold that 0.5 level, maybe wick down perhaps, but it needs to hold this level, and then we could easily see a break to the upside and a massive explosion. Now we could use this as a measuring tool, so using this kind of flag and then to place it on top of where it could break out. So we could see a move towards $7.45, basically the Fibonacci levels right here. Potentially that those could be levels that it reaches. Now that is if we use it from this point over here. Potentially it could be a really long chart pattern. So if that is the case, and we place it from here, then it could reach the 618 level at about $8.51. I am very bullish on 1 inch because I've used it a lot of times. It's a great decentralized exchange. Obviously, you've got a lot of fees, but that's the same with all decentralized exchanges on the Ethereum network. The volume is good as well. It's not as high as Uni or SUSHISwap, but it's still pretty good. So very bullish on that. And once it breaks past this trend line, this is obviously an important trend line, then I can really see it continuing on going higher. Next, we'll have a look at SRM. Again, another one that I'm bullish on, not only because it's a great product, but the team behind it, Alameda Research, Sam Friedman Bankman. Great team. The team is super important when it comes to these projects because they're the ones that are going to kind of push it forward and make the magic happen. So what I'm seeing on the weekly is this massive wick that happened last week. So this is a bit of a bearish indication. However, you can see the week after it still continued to eat up the gains. So for sure, very bullish. Now, the one thing that you can clearly notice is there is no red. There hasn't been any correction with SRM since December last year. So I am waiting for that correction to happen. However, on the daily time frame, you can see that it has been an up and down motion. It's given back gains on a number of occasions, especially in the last 2 weeks. You can see from the top, it lost about 40%. Now, on the daily time frame, what you can notice, of course, is this upwards trend line. And not only that, the high lows that are being formed, but the wicks as well are forming an upwards trend line. So similar to, I think it was SUSHI or 1inch, or perhaps another token. Every time it dips lower, people are buying up this token. So this is a clear indication people are very bullish on SRM. So I actually did just a bit of analysis earlier today before I recorded this video. And this was a point that I was looking for. It needs to break this, and then it'll be free to go and attack that previous high at around $6.90 or $7. And since me doing the analysis and now recording the video, it's broken past that level, so that's very bullish to see. Now I'm looking for it to attack the next level at around $7, and then perhaps it would get rejected. Maybe we get some consolidation, and then we break past there to make new highs. But this looks quite bullish to me. Now, of course, it's not a guarantee. So if we look in the opposite direction, there's going to be support around $4 for sure, as you can see here. The next major support level would be this previous all-time high, around $3.70 to $3.50. So those are the next two support levels if it doesn't break to the upside. But short term and long term, I'm very bullish on Project Serum. Super bullish on this. Next, we're going to have a look at Matic, or now called Polygon, I believe. So for those who've been holding Matic, I'm not quite sure what the name is again, or the pronunciation, sorry. So now, of course, this has made absolute crazy gains since the announcement of its the updates to the project to convert to Polygon and the changes to its development. It's absolutely exploded, massive gains, almost 600 to 700x. At the moment, what I can see from this chart pattern, this candlestick even, this is somewhat of a indecisive chart pattern or candlestick. This is one where it could easily be a short correction before continuing on higher to the next target. However, at the same time, it hasn't corrected for a small while, so it could easily turn around and shed some of its gains, potentially down to the next major level, which would be 10 cents. Now, I think that's unlikely, but it's possible. 15 cents and then 10 cents. I think what it's looking like more to me is a small correction. People are taking profits at an important level, 25 cents. And potentially now we're going to see a move to the upside up to about 30 cents and potentially beyond. I would say that's more of the likely outcome. However, looking at it on the daily time frame, it looks like it's in somewhat of a rising channel. At the moment, it's testing the lower trend line. We, of course, want to see it rebound properly and use it as support. I did plot a Fibonacci on this between this low and this high, and currently it's tested the 618. So this could be a setup where, as I've said, it's corrected somewhat and now it's going to go back on the up towards 28, 32 and 33 cents. As I said, 30 cents is the major target in between that as well. It's a big round number. So that's what I'm seeing with Matic. However, looking at it from the Bitcoin pairing, it's painting a different story. Let's have a quick look at that. So on the Bitcoin pairing, it actually looks like it could be heading downwards. As you can see, this clear upper counter trend line 3 times. This is the third test, and every time it's tested this, it's been a massive rejection to the downside. So we could see a bearish scenario on the Bitcoin pairing and maybe lose a lot of gains from this point down to about this consolidation region over here. Now, of course, it could find support in another region, but historically you can see these 2 rejections have led it to come down to this consolidation area, potentially even lower here where there's a lot of buy side support. So it's looking a bit bearish on this. Now, it could be the case, of course, that it somehow finds support, even though there is no clear support here. It could find support here and then turn around to break past this long-term trend line, counter trend line. But we'll have to see. Let's see if there's any more on the daily time frame. Now, looking at it from the daily time frame, of course, it's possible for it to find support here. It seems to have found a little bit of support here, not a lot, and for it to attack the previous high once again. However, something about this to me doesn't look very convincing. It looks like a small bit of support it's been able to find. However, as I've said, it's still possible, especially with the announcement of that development, the fact that it's converted to Polygon now, and there's a lot of interest in the project. So it's got some fundamentals pushing it or giving it a bit of momentum. I'd be a bit cautious with this. If you've been in the project for a while, you've been holding, I'd maybe take some profits. But I know a lot of people are bullish on this, so let's see. That's only my opinion on this. Last but not least, we have Polkadot. On the weekly, it doesn't look too good. It doesn't look like there's a lot of volume here for it to push and really test the previous high and break past it. It looks like a candlestick where it's sort of a pause in between the previous move, so it could carry on the previous bearish red candle and properly test the 0.5 level on the Fibonacci. So, but on the daily time frame, it's painting a different picture. You can see there's a symmetrical triangle here very clearly, and this could indicate a continuation of the previous trend on the daily time frames. On the daily, it definitely looks more bullish. It looks like it's created a symmetrical triangle, which could lead to a break to the upside. So 2 different pictures, in my opinion. The daily looks a lot more bullish than the weekly. If this is the case, and it is a symmetrical triangle continuing the previous bullish momentum, then we could see perhaps $45 being breached and beyond closer to $50. So of course, let's hope that it is the bullish case scenario and not the bearish. But as Bruce Lee alluded to earlier, empty your mind and be shapeless. Just see what the charts are saying and let's follow it closely. Let's not be rigid with our outcome, with our thoughts. So here we have another crypto that was mentioned by a member in the private Telegram group, and this is called Autonio. Well, their aim is to democratize trading and crowdsource liquidity. They develop solutions that enhance DeFi liquidity and help traders harness the power of the crowd. And the reason why this is an interesting project is because they have a partnership with quite a few good cryptocurrencies: Polygon or Matic, Crypto.com, Loopring, Singularity DAO and Singularity Net, as well as Elrond, Tomo Chain, and the other three I don't know, but all notable projects with good history. So looking at an article, the one thing that I'm not too happy about is the fact that it's already been quite a long time since it's been around. This article was written in June 17th, 2019, so the fact that it hasn't done much for that long is a bit concerning. However, it has formed a partnership with Singularity Net, which is credit to this project. So Autonio Foundation is a non-profit decentralized organization providing crypto trading tools and infrastructure. The NEO suite consists of 3 flagship projects available to traders: AutoNeo, an algo trading terminal; NeoDex, a smart decentralized exchange; and NeoNet, Autonio Ecosystem's AI network. So Singularity Net can offer the perfect environment for us to build NeoNet, our AI network designed to power our algorithmic trading terminal, allowing smart automation of existing trading strategies and offer market sentiment insights, allowing traders to make smarter trading decisions. So as you've read, this is for the traders to give it more of an edge with smart automation, algorithms, and things of that sort. Looking at the technicals quickly, as I've mentioned, it was basically been asleep since 2018, absolutely doing nothing, and it's since now woken up in near August of last year, and we started to see some activity, and now it's absolutely shot up to the upside, testing a previous high of around 20 cents. So if it can actually break past this, then there's a lot of upside for this project, and it looks like it's potentially got some kind of flagging formation here where it could break to the upside, maybe test it as support, and then continue on going higher. There's a lot of potential for this. As I said, the one thing that concerns me is the fact that it's been around for a long time and it hasn't done anything in the meantime. I don't know what's been happening. Maybe it's been developing the whole time. Who knows? This is just an overview of the project. Also, it's got a small market cap, so there's a lot of room to the upside, and trading 24-hour trading volume is decent at just over 1 million. So that is all I can say about this project. Looks interesting. If you want to invest in it, of course, do proper risk management. But it looks interesting. I wanna see if it breaks past this level, and then it can really shoot up very high. Potentially a 4x right there. I did forget one more crypto, and that is Ocean Protocol. Now, Ocean is absolutely smashing it. In the last few days, or 2 days even, it's gone up almost 60%. Now, what I mentioned in my private Telegram group is that it was in a limbo at this point right here. It crossed $1 once again and tested it as support, but it was also getting rejected from the previous high at around $1.20. So it was in limbo. Now, of course, it looks clearly like a continuation at the moment, but at the time, it definitely looked like it was decided. It wasn't sure which way to go, and it's made the right decision, of course. Now, it also looked like a broadening wedge to me. So you've got this ascending higher trend line and this descending lower trend line. So what I would want to see is perhaps a test of this as support, and then to continue on towards $2. So that's one scenario. The other scenario that could happen is for it to just carry on ascending towards $2, and then we could have a rejection over there. So let's keep an eye on it. I think the reason why it's gone up so much is perhaps a late reaction to the news that I mentioned in the previous update in regards to the partnership with Benchmark Protocol, and also the Kraken listing. So those two are quite big fundamentals that it could be reacting late to. Both big news. So I think that's the reason why it's gone up so much. However, it's just a late reaction. So this is a very bullish move for Ocean Protocol, and as you can see on the weekly time frame, perfect test of the Fibonacci level. Look at that, absolutely perfection. $1.69, just shy of that. And if you've been following, I drew this Fibonacci in previous videos, or when this high was created. So let's keep an eye on it. Let's keep an eye on it to make sure that it, of course, stays above this and carries on going higher to test $1.81 and then to $2. So that'll be all for this video. Definitely one of my longest ones. Hope you got some value from that, and see you in the next one. Peace.